Hello, hello, hello. And you know why our brother is smiling. You know why our brother is smiling tonight. That's what they came back for. That's what they did. They went out and did it. They went out and did it. 34-23. They bring home the national championship. They bring it home. Ryan Day gets his snatty, gets his championship. Much needed championship. And they bring it home. They bring it home. Much like they did when we expanded to 4 teams. Ohio State was your inaugural champion. Damn it, we don't do it again. We expand to 12 teams. Ohio State Buckeyes, your inaugural 12-team national championship team. This is what they came back for. This is what they came back for. They set out to do it. Some bumpy roads along the way. Mama said it wasn't going to be easy. It wasn't going to be easy. But before we get into the game, y'all know what to do. Y'all know to hit that like button. Please subscribe. Help this brother grow this thing out. Trying to get live here in 2025 and keep growing. Grew a lot in 24. Trying to do more here in 25. So I appreciate all the new subscriptions I got last year. Try to hit everybody back, but please keep it going. Please keep it coming. Help a brother grow this thing out. Now, game. Good game. Some first this contest, some first, of course, first time 12-team playoff, but for Ohio State in particular, some first went on that game. The first time they trailed. First time they trailed all playoffs long. First time they trailed. Notre Dame. Time-consuming drive. Nearly 10 minutes. They go down to take the score. But you know what? When they scored, I wasn't even worried. I said, Ohio State going to win this game. They going to win it. They going to win it. If that's how Notre Dame was going to move the ball, they weren't going to beat Ohio State. That's when I knew Ohio State was going to win on Notre Dame's first touchdown, believe it or not. I said they are not beating Ohio State. They are not beating Ohio State with that offense. They not. They just not. And they went down there to their credit. They went down and scored, but it took 10 minutes. I think that's the first time I seen a scoring drive where the offense came off the field more tired than the defense. Their quarterback got beat up that first drive. That's how I knew Ohio State was going to win this game. It was maybe my most stress-free game in the playoffs. I just not think Notre Dame was going to win, in particular after that drive, believe it or not. I was like, they ain't beating Ohio State, not like that. Now, if that's going to be their offense, they ain't going to beat Ohio State. I was not worried at all. And to their credit, like they've done all year long, Ohio State get the ball. Like I said, they've done it all year long. A team scores Ohio State 9 times out of 10 this season, they go right down and score a touchdown. They go right down. First time they trailed in the playoffs. First time. So you're like, all right, how are they going to respond? They have not been in this position before in these playoffs where they actually looked up and saw themselves behind in the game. It's like, all right, what they going to do? What they showed you what they do. They went right down there and scored before the first quarter was out. And like I said, Notre Dame held the ball with damn near 10 minutes. I said a drive, but I think they wore themselves out more than they did Ohio State's defense. Their quarterback got beat up on that first drive. But, boy is tough. But like I said, Ohio State, I had a feeling Ohio State was going to win the game after Notre Dame's scoring drive. Ohio State get the ball, go right back down the field and score. You know what? They scored every first drive of these playoffs. Didn't matter opponent. Ohio State scored on their first opening possession every game of the playoffs. Just good play calling, good scheming, whatever you want to call it. Ohio State did not miss a beat on their first drive of the playoffs. And like I said, the playoffs, it was something of a good thing to see. Ohio State, their offense they were pretty slow. They were like molasses coming out the gate, but not in these playoffs. These playoffs, they came out hitting every game of the playoffs, and this game was no different. They got down 7-0. They first time looking up at the scoreboard, seeing that they were behind, and what does Ohio State do? They score on their next 3 possessions. Before you know it, they go out the half 21-7. 21-7. 3 straight, and what Ohio State did, which I told you they was going to do, they made a concerted effort to get Jeremiah the ball. Texas, they had that game plan. They schemed them perfectly. They wasn't going to let JJ beat them. Notre Dame, they said it. We going to play man. They play man. They play man. Ohio State, they made an effort to get JJ the ball on that opening drive. I think he touched the ball, 3, 4, 5 times on that opening possession alone. Ohio State, they go right down the field and they score back up. They notch the thing. 7-7. They come out. Defense comes out, gets a stop, makes some adjustments, aided by some mishaps by Notre Dame. Had a penalty. I think they had a penalty. And got behind the sticks. That type of offense, you can't get behind the sticks if you Notre Dame. They got behind the sticks on their second drive. Ohio State stopped them right down the field and scored again. Third possession, Ohio State go right down the field, scored again. They couldn't stop us. They could not stop Ohio State. And it's like, y'all figure something out. This is going to be a blowout. It's going to be a blowout. 3 straight TDs, 21 unanswered points. Before you know it, Ohio State is going into the half up 21-7. And that's pretty much how a lot of their games in these playoffs have gone. They pretty much have put the game away in the first half. Even against Texas. They scored on that last, the screenplay to Trevion. No different here. They come 21-7. Getting the ball to come out the second half. I'm like, if they score a touchdown coming out the gate on the second half, it's going to be ball game. Come out second half, 4 straight TDs, 21-7. In my mind, 21-7, 28-7, and Notre Dame really ain't done much. Their offense was pedestrian. They trying to run the quarterback. Y'all keep trying to do that. But hey, they were struggling. 4th down. They go for it. The little fake field. Ohio State was ready. They was all over that. Stuffed them, and if they could have just punched it in after they got that 4th down stop on that fake punt. Like, why did you throw it there? Like Ohio State, they were waiting on it. That was good coaching. That's good coaching. They was waiting on the fake punt. They had it covered up. Maybe the guy would have thrown it better. He probably would have caught it, but it's not like Ohio State wasn't prepared for it. They missed it. And Ohio State, the one time they really need to score a touchdown to put the game away, Notre Dame bowled up. Probably gave them some little bit of confidence and held them to a field goal, 31-7. And you pretty much thinking if you're a Buckeye, that is the game, because they can't stop us. They can't do nothing on offense. Their offense ain't explosive. How are they going to come back? It would have been better for 35-7, but how are they going to come back from a 31-7 deficit? They just ain't going to do it unless we help them. They ain't coming back unless Ohio State helps them. And to the moan and groan of some folks, they got conservative. And they fought their way back. JJ was somewhat quiet in the second half up until he wasn't. But Notre Dame, to their credit, to Marcus Freeman's credit, his team did not roll over. They fought back. They fought hard. They got some stops. They got some Iggy did some of the Iggy stuff that Iggy's done throughout the course of the season, and they got back into the ball game. Kind of sort of made it interesting, but at no time at all did I ever think Notre Dame was going to even tie it up. Even when they got 31-23, I was just confident they weren't going to do it. Like I said, I just was not stressed that whole game. It was an enjoyable game to watch. Even when it was 31-23, because like Notre Dame cannot stop us if we don't go conservative. And that was out there. You'd be like, okay, it's Ryan Day. They have a tendency to sometimes go conservative and play not to lose instead of playing to win. So you sort of had that in the back of my mind, but not how this season's played out, not all the stuff they had to overcome to get into position in the first place. I just did not see Ryan Day, Chip Kelly, and company just laying down and rolling over and letting Notre Dame get all the way back. I was just that confident, even when it was 31-23, that Notre Dame was not going to. They put up an effort, put up a good fight, but that was it. That was it. They did what they could do. They made a game of it. They made it interesting. But I just, at no point in all that I ever think Notre Dame was going to ever come back, tie it up, let alone win the game. I was just that uber confident. It's hard to say that, but I was just that uber confident in that even 31-23, Notre Dame was not going to get all the way back and tie this game up. Even with the 2-point conversions or whatnot, they made the plays they needed to. It's a championship game. They're going to show some championship heart, and they did that. They just ran into a better team. Ohio State was the better team. Made it interesting, but that was about it. I had to actually sit down, watch the fourth quarter, but I never was really stressed out that Notre Dame was going to win the game because it's Notre Dame. It's Ohio State. When's the last time Notre Dame has beaten Ohio State? You gotta go back years and years for that. And I'm just not. Like I said, going into the game, I was sort of just to put in perspective. Tennessee game, I was sort of kind of worried because they coming off the way the season ended. SEC team coming down. I was nervous about that game. I was nervous. I ain't gonna lie, I was nervous about that. Oregon beat us. How are they going to play happy in the Rose Bowl against Oregon? I was just kind of sort of nervous about that game. Are our DBs going to hold up against their secondary, the best passing team that lit us up the first time around? I was kind of sort of nervous about that one. Texas game, another SEC team in their home, in their stomping grounds. I kind of sort of nervous about that one a little bit, just a little bit. Notre Dame, I wasn't nervous. And those are typically the games Ohio State will sometimes lose, but I was just never nervous about this game. Even when Notre Dame went up, I was even more confident after Notre Dame scored their first touchdown. I kid you not. But not everyone was, but I was like, Ohio State got this. They ain't going to win with that offense. You're going to get your quarterback killed before you beat Ohio State unless y'all change some stuff up. JJ got the ball. First quarter, like I said, 21, 28 unanswered 28, 31 unanswered points before Notre Dame got on the board again, and we closed the game out. They got closed the game out. Almost want to say reminiscent to the drive against Penn State when they came off the goal line and just ran out the clock. Pretty much what they did. That's pretty much what they did here after Oregon. After still got Oregon on the brain. After Notre Dame got down, made it 31-23, had to have a championship drive to close out the game, and that's what Ohio State did. They made the plays when they needed to make the plays. Like I said, JJ was quiet for that second half until he wasn't. Third and 11, you're going to leave your freshman DB, as good as he is, on Jeremiah one-on-one out there on the island. Ain't no one covered Jeremiah all year long one-on-one. Yes. And Will Howard, he put the ball on him. Not quite a holy Buckeye. Not quite. Per se, because the big stuff going on that surrounded the whole Holy Buckeye thing, but this was right up there. Then we Holy Buckeye closed the deal. We don't get the completion here on 3rd and 11. Our defense can still come out there and close the game. So not quite to that magnitude, but damn it if it wasn't right up there, and you still had to have the guts to throw the ball and put the ball on point. And Will Howard did that. You don't leave Jeremiah out there one-on-one. But to their credit, they said they play man. That's their bread and butter. They play man, and Jeremiah got him. Just a reminder, Notre Dame, we ain't Penn State. We got receivers. Y'all shut out Penn State's receivers. Y'all ain't gonna y'all wasn't gonna shut out Ohio State receivers. You okay? I mean, I think y'all got a little bit big headed when y'all held Penn State receivers to the 0 catches for 0 yards. Y'all ain't gonna do that this game. Not this game. Y'all play man against some teams. This is the one team you cannot play man against. It's Ohio State. They got too much. And if you do got them coming up, your backs are turned. And Will Howard, he took, to his credit, like I say, the dude balled out these whole playoffs. He balled out the whole playoffs, and like I said, to his credit, he took what the defense gave him. Receivers are covered up. He went off some big runs. Like he had close to over 60 yards rushing at the end of the day. He had him a game. Kudos for him. Kudos for the whole team. Just gotta take your hats off to those group of guys that decided to come back. Sort of reminds me of remember when Mike Doss Mike Doss come back just to win the Natty. Similar that type of situation. These guys came back to win the national championship, and it was good to see him be able to pay it off in the end. They had to come over some stuff, some adversity, some soul searching, and at the end of the day, they did what everyone thought at the beginning of the year that this team was capable of doing it, and they went out and did it. Yeah, it's gonna be easy, but it ain't nothing worth it gonna be easy. And they had some stuff to do, like some soul searching. A lot of people don't put a lot of credit into those player-only meetings, but hey, when it worked, it worked. And this is one time you can say that player-only meeting, whatever took place following the end of the regular season, it worked because these guys went on a tear throughout these playoffs. Ryan Day went on a tear throughout these playoffs, and hopefully he done finally shut some folks up about his winning against top-notch teams, top playoff teams, top 5 teams, whatever you want to call it, his CFP record. He wiped that all out in one impressive playoff run. And, you know, a lot of folks saying that yeah, but Crown, I don't care if he do win the Natty, he need to get fired. You know, a lot of those folks, they were probably thinking he wasn't going to win it, so that's probably why they're saying it. They put a graphic up of Ryan Day's winning percentage all time. He's like 3rd all time with a minimum of 50 plus coach games. He's 3rd. He's damn near 90%. You don't get rid of people who wins 90% of their games. I don't care. You just don't do that. And he finally validated that winning percentage by capping it off with a national championship, which, you know, he's had a couple cracks at it, came up just a little bit short, but this time he was able to bring it home. Like I said, it got interesting. with Notre Dame got it down to 8 points, but I was never really stressed that Notre Dame was going to be able to pull it off. I just wasn't. When we pretty much ran out the last 4 or 5 minutes of that game. Again, the big shot to Jeremiah pretty much sealed the deal. That was a dagger. That was a dagger. If you're gonna have a dagger in football, that was a dagger right there. Our stars played. They stars winning the game, players winning the games, players winning the championships. Well, Howard had a proficient day. Jeremiah had a big day. Our receivers, he just spread the ball around. Judkins, people say, why Trevion? That's why you got the 2 running backs. They just play off of one another. Trevion had his moment throughout the CFP. Judkins always come in and do the short yardage stuff, but Judkins had him a game. Can't say enough about him. I know Will Howard got the offensive MVP, but you could have gave that Quashan as well. But that stuff normally goes to quarterbacks. But I ain't mad. Like I said, Will Howard had him a day. 13 straight completions. I believe that was a record to match Notre Dame's opening drive 10-minute record. They said that was a record, holding the ball for 10 minutes on the opening drive. But Will Howard says, all right, hold my water. I'm gonna go out here and complete my first 13 passes en route to a touchdown, en route to 3-4 unanswered touchdowns. So again, Will Howard had him a day, over 230 passing yards, throw in those 57 rushing yards, which were important. When they had our receivers locked up, he ran for first downs. Our third down proficiency was off the charts. 70-80% on third downs. Notre Dame could not get us off the field. But so he could have gave that to Quishon, but Will Howard got the offensive MVP. Like where you at, Acho? Where's Emmanuel Acho? Y'all remember that segment? I don't watch it, but someone was. I can't watch ESPN, but there was Emmanuel Acho. That his name. Will Howard, without a doubt, is the worst quarterback in the CFP. Mind you, coming into the CFP, I think only Dylan Gabriel had a higher completion percentage than Will Howard. They based everything off Will Howard off his last game of the season that he had in the regular season. But other than that, he has been on point. And it just wasn't this game. Tennessee, he came out on fire. He was throwing dimes in tight windows. It continued over into the Oregon game. Dimes in tight windows. Just the confidence level, the throws he was making, the accuracy he was making. Texas game, again, just throwing dimes, making good decisions, not forcing the ball, spreading it around to the folks that were available. You got the weapons, use them. And he used everybody. G. Scott had big moments. Just stuff that goes unnoticed, like the Texas game. G. Scott got us into the 4th and 2 situation anyway, so Howard could have his long run that the turf monster had to make a tackle on him. This game, G. Scott had fighting for extra yards to set up some 3rd and short, so G. Scott had him some game. Emeka Carnell stepped up when he had to. Just weapons all over the field, and Will Howard was good at getting folks the ball, getting the weapons, getting the ball to his people in good spots. And when they weren't there, he would use his feet and get stuff on his own. So just kudos all around to Will Howard. Good pickup in the transfer portal. So people can say what they want about the portal, but like I said, Ohio State, most of their folks were homegrown. A few key additions in a few key areas in the transfer portal. Like I think it's been widely mentioned, several teams have spent just as much, if not more, on their transfers. Most of Ohio State's NIL money went to keep their folks on the roster, keep them from going elsewhere, to keep them from going to the NFL. Most of us homegrown, and Will Howard was one of those folks that came in, and his running ability alone, fit well with what Ohio State wanted to do this season and what they needed to do this season to make the offense that much more dangerous. My boy, y'all know I was a Kyle McCord fan. He had him a year at Syracuse, but Will Howard is a better fit for this offense and what we needed him to do. And like I said, he had him a game. Just made big clutch throws throughout the whole of the playoffs. Just super proficient on 3rd down this game. And JJ, all that, forgot Emeka. And hats off to Emeka. All the great receivers that have come through here. Emeka leaves Ohio State as the receptions career record. So kudos to Emeka and what he did. Again, another one of those players that came back. Again, just great to see all these guys that came back. Didn't get everything they wanted for coming back, but they got the big one. The big one was the Natty. I'm sorry. The big one, they got that. They accomplished that way to go out with a national championship. So again, great for them. And then the game it was a great playoffs run for Ohio State. Pit a lot of stuff. Got rid of a lot of skeletons, like I said, for Ryan Day, and it was just a magnificent performance. The last 2 games. You sort of, after Tennessee and Oregon, you thought they were just going to blow through a la what LSU did a few years ago under Joe Burrow, but they had to grind it out. Had to grind it out, show the defense bowled up throughout the playoffs. And again, Notre Dame finally cracked 20 points. points are hard to come by against our defense and field. And Notre Dame they cracked 20 points. It hasn't been done in the playoffs. Notre Dame was able to do it, but Ohio State was pretty much just blitzing everyone at the start of games. They outscored their opponents in the first half throughout the CFP 90-32. I said the games were essentially over at halftime for the most part. I think they were tied throughout the entirety of the playoffs for 5 minutes, other than 0-0. Other than 0, they weren't tied that much, let alone behind. Texas got us at 14 at one point. Then we know what happened in that game, and Notre Dame jumped out, had the early lead, and then we go and scored 31 straight points. So again, it was just a masterful performance by the team in general. Notre Dame got back into it, to their credit. So they had some help from Iggy. He gonna get you one, maybe two holding pass interferences a game. He gonna get you. If it ain't him, it's typically Iggy. He gonna get you one. He gets you one, and so they was able to get back into it. But I said at no point was I ever thought Notre Dame was going to actually come back and tie that up. Much needed. That was a good game. Much needed. Much needed for Ryan Day, and I'm happy for Ryan Day happy for the team because they took a lot of stuff following the end of the regular season. But that way that team came together, the way that defense came together, like Jim Knowles had that defense playing great. Lights out. I said Notre Dame, they had the big long drive, and then after that we pretty much shut them down for the rest of the half. They didn't have those long extended drives. They got some explosive plays to get themselves back into the game, but they don't have that type of offense. The only offense I really was Oregon's offense, and Notre Dame did not have that type of offense to me that put a bunch of fear into what Ohio State defense is capable of doing if they play up to their potential, and they made Notre Dame work for everything that they had. But Ryan Day, you can't knock, like I say, Ryan Day. The big knock against Ryan Day was his record and these top 10, top 5 matchups. They weren't good. They weren't bad, but they weren't good. I think he was slightly under 500 in those type of games. But my whole thing was, you got to be in the top 5 to be in those, be involved in those matchups to begin with. He was a top 10, top 5 coach, and more times than not, they would come. They ain't like he getting blown out. Like I said, Georgia a couple years ago, 1 point. If we make a 50-something yard field goal, he wins the game. They probably going to beat TCU in the championship. Just stuff here and there. Oregon 1 point loss because Dan Lanning know how to manipulate the clock. So we ran out of time. Ain't like Ohio State's been getting blown out in these losses when they lose in these top 5 matchups. But that's one thing people are bringing up against Ryan Day. His top 5 matchup, and of course school up north, which that it is what it is, But I'll think in this era, that game's always going to be uber important, but you can still accomplish what they accomplished without winning that game. As I'll be at the supporting that it is, and this year proved that. Doesn't take anything away from what they accomplished this year because of how the regular season ended. They got the national championship. They get to hang that up on the rafters, and they're going to remember this forever, that national championship, and what they had to go through to get there. People knocking them down, the media talking about them. Fire the coach, Will Howard this, you that. He's, and the way they overcame all of that, and the way they just ripped through these playoffs. Again, just kudos to him. I think it's the first time they have brought up the graph. First time that a team has beaten 5 top 5 teams in the season. Of course, 4 of those came in the playoffs. Again, the first time ever 12-team playoff, just like Ohio State did with the first time ever 4-team playoff. We win the first one. We get the party started. Winning 12-team playoffs, and it was a tough 12. That was a tough road. When you look at those brackets, it's like that was a gauntlet of teams. Ryder had to do something that he hasn't done, period, that Ohio State hasn't done in a while, and that's go through 2 SEC teams. He had to go through 2 of them, and I really want to call Texas SEC, but they just there by name, by affiliation, but are they truly SEC? Yeah, they got beat there a little bit more. They just there under in brand, only like Oregon. Are they really Big Ten yet? You know, they Big Ten champs, but really are they yet? But just got to go with it. But Texas, technically SEC, so we had to go through 2 SEC teams. We had to go through the number 1 team that we lost to earlier in the year. So it was a tough road to get through. And then a Notre Dame team that only had the 1 loss, and again, but really though, they lost to Northern Illinois. It would have been bad if we would have lost to the team that lost to Northern Illinois. Nothing against Northern Illinois, but come on now. You can't lose to a team that Northern Illinois beat. Be that alone should I be? Well, never mind. I ain't gonna pile on Northern Illinois, but they lost to Northern Illinois. If Northern Illinois can figure out a way to beat Notre Dame, damn it, Ryan Day, Chip Kelly, y'all best be able to figure out a way to beat Notre Dame if Northern Illinois can do it. I know everybody have a bad day, but that must have been a really bad day. You lose to Northern Illinois. Come on. So they had to win it just for that alone. Can't lose to a team lost Northern Illinois. Come on now. But Ohio State just over the years, just that consistency they've had under different coaches, I think is unmatched. That's it. This is the 3rd different Ohio State coach that's won the Natty since 2000. Jim Tressel got the party started. Urban Meyer brought it home 2014, and now Ryan Day does it. I know there have been multiple schools with multiple championships, but most of those come under 1 coach. Saban at Alabama, Dabo at Clemson, Kirby at Georgia. I think LSU maybe had 2 coaches. Orgeron, I can't remember who the other one was. If someone knows, hit me up. But I think Ohio State's the only one that won 3 championships with 3 different coaches. That's consistency. That's consistency of the program, the culture that's been built here. You just keep it going, and that's why sort of the expectations are so ridiculously high, because we've just been a model of consistency this whole time, no matter who is the coach, and we don't like losing, and sometimes we get crazy with and when we do lose, you act like we ain't never supposed to lose, but damn, we're gonna lose every now and then. Like Ryan, it all depends on how you come back from that, and they had to do some soul searching following how the regular season ended, and I think they responded well. You can't respond no better than that. You go on 4 straight games against top 5, top 10 competition, and you beat them all by double digits. You beat them all by double digits, and for the most part, the games weren't close. They weren't. Texas was like I said, Texas was probably the closest matchup. The Scoop and Sawyer sealed the deal for that one, and now we can officially say because that Scoop and Sawyer don't mean nothing if they would have lost this game. But now that is the play of legends that will go down in the annals of history. The Scoop and Sawyer against Texas. I ain't gonna say Pittis in this game because we probably would have won the game anyway against Texas, but damn it, that sure did make it easier. And then that's going to be remembered. That might be remembered more than the actual game itself against Notre Dame. It might be. It just might be, because who remembers we beat Oregon in 2014? Everybody remember. Ezekiel Elliott running through the heart of the South. And that was the semifinal game. No one talk about the Oregon game, the actual championship game. They all talk about Ezekiel Elliott. Like years from now, is people really gonna talk about the Notre Dame game? No, they're gonna be talking about the Scoop and Sawyer. Where that put us in the game. It's like the Notre Dame game itself. It was just all right. It was sort of expected we were going to win. Just like, even though Oregon won back then was that Marcus Mariota, but everyone's still high on Ezekiel Elliott and what we did to Alabama. The Oregon games become an afterthought. Like the Miracle on Ice when we beat. Everyone knows that wasn't the gold medal game. They still had to go out with the gold medal, but they don't ever talk about the actual gold medal game. When we won 2014, they don't talk about Oregon. They talk about Ezekiel Elliott through the heart of the South. 2, 3, 4, 5 years from now, they ain't gonna be talking about Notre Dame. They're gonna be talking about the Scoop and Sawyer. I'm just speculating, but I have a feeling that's what they're gonna be talking about. And of course, maybe the Jeremiah Smith. He was quiet that second half, quiet all the second half until he wasn't. Like I said, you play me man on man, we gonna take our shot. They played a man to man at the most crucial down, 3rd and 11. You leave Jeremiah out there 1-on-1. I could have completed the pass. He was so open. It's like, why? I know y'all like y'all man to man, but come on now, y'all crazy with that man to man stuff. But they made the play. So that Scoop and Sawyer thing of legends, it's gonna go down. Watch, mark my words, it's gonna be talked about more than the Notre Dame game when it's all said and done. And deservedly so. That was a hell of a play to get us into the championship game to begin with. And then Notre Dame, I said 31-7. That was pretty much ball game. They made it. They fought back like a championship caliber team would. So kudos to them. Kudos for Notre Dame. That was a good, clean game, hard fought game. Hats off to Marcus Freeman. Now he did a job. He did a good job. But he just ran into a better team. Got more. House State just got more. They got weapons all over the field. And Notre Dame sort of undermanned in that department, but they made the most of what they have. So when they played up, they put up a good fight. Good fight. They got to see a team that actually had receivers. If Penn State has some receivers, who knows? We may have been playing Penn State. May have been all Big Ten thing. Big Ten wins a second straight year in a row. It's shifting of the guard. I don't know. It could be. Michigan last year, Ohio State this year. I don't know. NIL's made a world of difference. Got players coming back. That might be one positive thing about the NIL. Players aren't so eager to go off to the NFL. A lot of these players came back, as been pointed out. I'm glad Kirk be saying some stuff that sort of but he's the one person that pointed out the NIL money Ohio State spent. Other teams have spent more. In fact, 2 of the teams that Ohio State beat spent more, but they don't talk about it. Our president made the mistake by saying how much we actually spent. So that's why it was out there. But I do, like it's been brought up, Oregon spent more, Texas spent more, and other teams spent right around the same amount Ohio State did. We just got the most for our buck. You know what I'm saying? Don't be mad. Don't hate the player. Don't hate the player, hate the game. Ohio State just did it better. They did it better. They spent their money to keep their folks home. They spent their money on their defense. They came back. And that might be a trend you seeing, because they pointed out a lot of those Michigan players came back. Now look what they did. They ended up winning the Natty. So you may have more players coming back. That might end up affecting the transfer portal. Because if everyone coming back, who you going to go to? Because all their players are coming back. I'm just saying. Something to keep an eye out on, this new trend with the NIL stuff. People are coming back. You don't have that rush need to get off to the NFL to make the money, because you can do it right here in college and still have the camaraderie with your friends and your play and your teammates, because you get, like I said, they built that culture, and a lot of folks In the sports world, they enjoy that culture. And if you can stay there and hold on to that because of the NIL, instead of jumping off to the NIL and uncertainty if you're going to make the team or not, why not come back for another year of college? Why not? You may have more teams doing that, especially if these results for the last 2 years show anything. You got a chance to come back and win a national championship. We've seen it already, Penn State. Drew coming back. I don't know if he was an NFL-ready quarterback anyway, but Drew Aller's coming back, and both their running backs are coming back. Especially running backs because, their NFL span is short. So if you can stay in college, split some carries with somebody else and still make some money, why not come back? That's part of why Judkins came here in the first place, because they was working him like a dog at Ole Miss. Come here, let Trevion take some of the load. I take half the load. Fresh legs. You see how fresh Trevion was at the end of the year? See what the difference is when you got Henderson that is fresh compared to the other years when he was battling through injuries and people wanted to start Mayan Williams over him. People wanted to start Chip Trayanum over him. People wanted to run Henderson out because the guy was trying to play through injuries. He was free. See what happened? We got a fresh Trevion. I love Judkins, but if Trevion broke that run to start off that second half, Trevion scoring, he's going to do his little thing after thing. Judkins ran out of gas, but they able to cash it in anyway. But Trevion scored because he got fresh legs. You can see it. Fresh legs. The dude was just uber quick. And then Judkins, he's the little bit of the hammer to Thunder, to Trevion's lightning. But as a tandem, boom, and you might see more running backs doing that, going someplace where they ain't got to carry the load. And it made a world of a difference for Ohio State. The offensive line cannot Justin Fry, you giving them crap, I've given them crap. He still need to pick up his recruiting, but like I said, linemen, that's the one thing, it's hard to evaluate. They either hit or miss. So the portal has been good to us these last few years. We're bringing in offensive linemen. Simmons this year, we forgot Hook, McLaughlin. We go out and get someone again. It's better to bring in someone that's had 2-3 years of playing experience, even if it's at a lesser program, than try to wait for your freshmen to get built up. And I think you've seen that pay dividends this season with the injuries. Like I said, McLaughlin, the two people we brought in, McLaughlin and Simmons, those are two people that got hurt. But to his credit, you got to give Justin Fry some credit because he made that line work. He might be more of a developer than we give him credit for as he is a recruiter. But that offensive line held up, particularly down the stretch, particularly again against Texas. Throughout the whole college playoffs against Notre Dame. Will Howard had time to throw the ball. He ain't making those pinpoint throws, that accuracy, if he has to keep constantly moving around in the pocket. And he really didn't face that much pressure throughout the whole of the playoffs. So again, kudos to the offensive line. They opened up holes when they needed to. So going back to that Penn State game, they get the goal line stand. Ohio State still had to drive the field, and they did it with 8-10 straight handoffs against Penn State, at Penn State, against that defensive line. And it just carried through, and we've seen it throughout the playoffs. So, for all the crap we give Justin Fry, gotta give Justin Fry the credit where credit is due, because that offensive line gelled with all the moving pieces. He had them playing, at a high level, and the results is in the labors and the rewards right there. So they paid it off, and Will Howard had time, the running backs had time, opened up holes. They were a cohesive unit. They looked like an offensive line, much unlike what they looked like in years past. Following out the Nebraska game where Simmons went out, you wouldn't think one guy is that important to our offensive line. It's yeah, we gotta get rid of Justin. But since that Nebraska game, Justin Fry, he's coached his tail off, and this offensive line has done wonders. So again, just congrats to that offensive line and what they did. The defense, they've been on point all year. Notre Dame, like I said, they broke through for 23 points, but it's a championship game. You expect the other opposing team to be able to do some stuff. and Notre Dame did some stuff, but our defense held up when they needed to. They made the plays in the first half to help us get to that lead, and then once you get a lead like that, you just gotta match them. Score for score in the second half. Eventually, they're gonna run out of time, and that's what happened. They ran out of time. I said Ohio State got the ball. They ran out the last 4 minutes of the game, basically, like they did against Penn State. So just good all-around team effort. And you can't say it couldn't happen to a more deserving group of guys, because every team goes in that way feeling they deserve it. They gone through some stuff. But, Ohio State, this team went through some stuff through the media, their own fans, whatever you want to say, and they came through, they gelled together, and it propelled them to a national championship. They overcame a lot, and they played, like I say, they played lights out these last 4 games. Ryan Day coached his butt off. Chip Kelly took his crap. Some great play calling, some great scheming. Jeremiah's first touchdown, wasn't nobody around him. You saw the Notre Dame DB just screaming for someone to get over there, and he just walked it to the end zone. Just scheming plays like that. So it was a little bit, I don't want to say when they got a little bit conservative, but it's like once they open it up again, Notre Dame ain't gonna be able to stop them. But so I was really never too concerned, even when it got down to 31-23. I said Ryan Day ain't gonna let this slip through his hands. Nope, I just don't see it happening. Not against this team. Nope. That was a good season. Started where it ended. Started with everyone saying Ohio State was going to win it, and it ended just that way. Speed bumps along the way. But yeah. It's like you said, how you overcome it. They overcame that stuff, and they brought home the natty. It was a good coach game, and just to see Ryan Day's elation after the game, him and Jack Sawyer celebrating. Sawyer, his first recruit. When they became the thing, Sawyer was his first recruit, and they say they're like family. So to see those two embrace after the game was great. To see, like I said, see Sawyer pay it off, to see his play get paid off from the Texas game into this game, and then actually bring home the natty. It's just great all the way around. What a way to start the season off if you Ohio State. And they are losing a lot. One thing too, just want to celebrate the moment, but next year they're going to be a tough out too. I'm just saying. Just putting that out there now. They got a lot of players, got a lot of experience throughout the course of this season, so they'll be losing a lot, but they bringing a lot back. Starting with Caleb Downs and, of course, Jeremiah Smith, and everyone's wonder kid that they waiting to see is Julian Sayin, or is he going to beat about Tavian St. Clair? I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see that spring game. That's what's on tap next. The spring game, what everyone's going to be talking about. But for now, we're going to enjoy this national championship. First ever 12-team playoff. Ohio State is the winner. We kick it off just like we did with the 14th playoff, bringing home the natty, bringing it home back to taking it back to Columbus, where it belongs. And Ryan Day, can we go next season? Can I just put it out there now? Can we go next season without one person saying Ryan Day need to be fired? Can we just get one season with that? I'm just trying to get a jump start on that, so Ryan Day can just coach and don't have to worry about all the naysayers. He got a championship under his belt, legendary status. Like they say, she could be able to get a free beer anywhere in Columbus now. That whole team should. But again, great. Again, hats off to Notre Dame for their season. But they ran into a better team tonight. But that program is going to the right spot. But I still think they need to be in the conference. That's a discussion for another time. Because they got an easy path. I'm sorry, they need to be in the conference. They just do. James Franklin said it. I agree 100%. But that's another conversation for another day. We're going to enjoy this championship for now. A much-deserved championship. Kudos to Ohio State. Kudos to Ryan Day. Kudos to all the returning seniors to end this season on a high note and bring back that championship. Bring back that championship. Ohio State fans, where you at? You know how I do it. OHIO. Go Bucks. I'm out. We won the natty, y'all.